Yeah, I've always wanted to meet her, and she was a queen always. And when I met her, we met at this jazz club.
Jason Momoa's daughter, Lola Iolani Momoa, has finally broken her silence, revealing shocking secrets about her father that no one saw coming. For years, Jason Momoa was not just an A-list actor, he was the picture-perfect family man, husband to Lisa Bonet, and a devoted father to their children. But when Momoa and Bonet announced their shocking divorce, fans were left stunned. What could have gone so wrong in a marriage that seemed rock solid? Now, as the dust settles, one unexpected voice is speaking out, Lola Iolani Momoa. She has finally revealed the truth about what life was really like in the Momoa household, and the secrets she's exposing about her father are far more shocking than anyone imagined. Was Jason really the perfect father the world believed him to be, or was there a dark reality behind the carefully crafted image of their family? Let's uncover the truth. For years, Jason Momoa's daughter, Lola Iolani Momoa, grew up in what looked like the perfect home. To the outside world, her parents, Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet, were one of Hollywood's most admired couples, a rare love story that seemed to defy the odds. Their free-spirited lifestyle, deep respect for each other, and commitment to family made them appear unshakable. Together, they built what many considered an ideal family dynamic. From surf trips to artistic retreats, their children, Lola and her younger brother, Nakoa Wolf, were raised in an environment that emphasized cultural heritage, artistic expression, and a connection to nature. Bonet, known for her introspective and grounded approach to life, encouraged mindfulness and individuality, while Momoa, with his larger-than-life personality, brought excitement, adventure, and an appreciation for the outdoors. On social media, their life looked idyllic, almost too good to be true. But according to Lola's shocking revelations, that perfect image was just a facade. For a long time, Jason and Lisa seemed happy. Behind the smiles and adventurous family moments, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. At first, it was subtle, tension hanging in the air, whispered arguments behind closed doors, and moments when her mother's smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Lola and her brother, Nakoa Wolf, weren't told what was happening, but children don't need words to understand when something is wrong. It wasn't just a bad day or a rough patch, this was something deeper. Something had changed in their home, and Lola knew it. She felt it. And the more Lola observed, the more she questioned everything she once believed about her father. To the world, her father remained the charismatic action hero, the devoted family man. But at home, who was he really? And as Lola began to understand the truth, she also realized something else. She wasn't sure she liked what she saw. Before the cracks in their relationship became apparent, Jason and Lisa were once the epitome of a Hollywood love story. Their romance had captivated the world, and their love for each other seemed unbreakable. So what really happened? And how exactly did things fall apart? Before the world knew Jason Momoa as the towering, charismatic warrior of Hollywood, he was just a boy from Hawaii with a dream that revolved around one woman, Lisa Bonet. His admiration for her started long before they even met. As a child, he watched her on The Cosby Show. He was mesmerized by her presence, her energy, and the effortless way she commanded attention. He told people she was his dream woman, and years later, against all odds, he made that dream a reality. Lisa Bonet was already a Hollywood legend by the time Jason entered the industry. She was mysterious, effortlessly cool, and fiercely independent. She didn't follow trends, she set them. Lisa had already lived through the highs and lows of Hollywood romance, having been married to rock star Lenny Kravitz, with whom she shared her first daughter, Zoe Kravitz. But with Jason, something was different. He was wild and untamed, yet deeply devoted to her. Their love was intense, passionate, and full of adventure. For years, they were inseparable. They traveled the world, built a life together, and created a family that seemed unshakable. Then came Lola Iolani Momoa in 2007, followed by her brother, Nakoa Wolf, in 2008. To the world, it seemed like the perfect family. Jason, with his deep love for Hawaiian culture, raised his children like warriors, bold, fearless, and adventurous. Lisa, on the other hand, nurtured their artistic side, filling their home with music, poetry, and deep conversations. Their household was a unique blend of bohemian freedom and primal intensity. For years, Jason spoke about Lisa like she was a goddess, the love of his life, the woman who made him who he was. And the world believed it. Their energy was magnetic, and their love was a rare Hollywood anomaly, one that would last forever. But love stories, especially the most passionate ones, don't always end the way we expect. Somewhere along the way, things changed. The energy shifted. The cracks formed. And the fairy tale began to crumble. Lola saw it all. She saw the tension before the world did. She felt the shift before anyone else noticed. And as she began to understand the truth, she realized something even more shocking: maybe her father wasn't the man the world thought he was. So what went so wrong? And who really was to blame? For Jason Momoa, becoming a Hollywood A-lister was the dream he had fought for his entire life. From his early days on Baywatch Hawaii to struggling for roles in the industry, he had faced rejection after rejection. He had the look, the presence, the energy, but Hollywood didn't know what to do with him. Then everything changed. In 2011, Jason landed the role of Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones, and suddenly, the world saw him differently. His portrayal of the fierce, intimidating warlord made him an instant fan favorite. Even though his time on the show was short-lived, it was his breakthrough, the role that put him on the map. But what should have been his biggest success would later threaten everything he had built at home. After Game of Thrones, Jason was unstoppable. He wasn't just a supporting actor anymore, he was leading man material. His dream role came in 2016 when he was cast as Aquaman in the DC Extended Universe. The announcement was huge, and with it came a level of fame and responsibility that he had never experienced before. And Lola saw it all unfold before her eyes. At first, Lola was proud. Her father was a superhero, his face on posters and action figures. But as time passed, she saw the toll it took on their family. The house reportedly felt emptier without him. Filming for Justice League and Aquaman took him across the world, months at a time in Australia, Canada, and Iceland. Lisa and the kids stayed behind in Los Angeles, watching him transform from the man they knew into something different. Lisa had always supported Jason's dreams, but there was an understanding that family came first. However, as his career skyrocketed, he was around less and less. Late-night phone calls turned into missed calls. Texts went unanswered. When Jason finally came home, he was exhausted, drained from filming, press tours, and stunt work. The adventurous, playful father Lola had once known felt distant, like a guest in their home rather than a permanent presence. And Lola saw it. She felt it. Tensions grew. Lola overheard whispered conversations and arguments behind closed doors. Reports suggest Lisa tried to hold on to the life they had built, but Jason seemed unable, or unwilling, to slow down. By the time Aquaman became a billion-dollar success in 2018, Jason was no longer just an actor, he was a global superstar. But at home, things were falling apart. The warmth, the closeness, the connection that once defined their family seemed to be slipping away. And Lola couldn't help but wonder, was this the price of success? As the spotlight shone brighter on Jason's career, the shadows at home grew darker. The cracks in their relationship, once barely visible, began to spread. Behind the closed doors of their home, a different story was unfolding, one of tension, arguments, and unspoken words. And Lola was watching every moment of it. But the weight of it all was suffocating. Conversation grew shorter, and interactions felt forced. And then, her father's absence became harder to ignore. A close family friend revealed that Jason had always been busy, but after the separation, it felt different. It was like he was disappearing. For years, Lola had convinced herself that his career pulled him away. She believed that he wasn't choosing work over them, that he was just doing what he had to do. But now, for the first time, doubt crept in. Was he running toward something or running away from them? An anonymous source clarified that Lola didn't hate him at first, but there was resentment, a kind of quiet anger that built up over time. Lisa, on the other hand, was the one who stayed and picked up the pieces. But her relationship with Lola changed too. They were close, but the divorce put strain on that bond because now, it wasn't just about being mother and daughter. It was about survival and navigating a new reality. Then came the worst part, the memory that sticks with every kid whose parents split up. The moment they knew, without a doubt, that their family would never be the same again. No more hoping things would go back to the way they were. No more believing that love alone could fix what was broken. For Lola, that moment was inevitable. Something happened that made it real. According to sources, it could have been a phone call that never came, a holiday spent apart, or a quiet realization, the one where she finally understood that no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't put the pieces of her family back together. At first, she may have tried to ignore it, convincing herself it was just a rough patch. But as time passed, the weight of it became impossible to escape. The home she once knew had changed, and so had her father. The man who had once been larger than life, her protector and hero, now felt distant, like a stranger she was still trying to recognize. No one knows if Lola confronted her father about how she felt or if she let the anger fester in silence. But one thing was clear, for the first time, she realized that some things can never be undone. And in that moment, everything Lola thought she knew about her father changed. He is pure evil. In a moment of frustration, Lola turned to her close friend, her words filled with emotion. "You don't get it. He is pure evil." The words tumbled out before she could stop them. Did she really mean them? Maybe not in the literal sense. But in that moment, in the pain of everything she had seen and felt, the distance, the arguments, the feeling of being left behind, it felt true. For years, Jason Momoa had been known as the lovable, larger-than-life figure, an A-list actor and family man who adored his wife and children. But in the most painful moments of his family's unraveling, his own daughter, Lola Iolani Momoa, was said to have uttered those shocking words. But what did she really mean? Was Jason truly evil? Or was he simply a man so caught up in his own world that he failed to see the pain he was causing? To understand, you have to look through Lola's eyes. For most of her childhood, her father was her hero. He was the fun-loving, adventurous dad who would lift her up on his shoulders and make her feel like the most important person in the world. He was strong, protective, and full of life. But as the years passed, that version of him felt further and further away. And Lola had seen the shift firsthand. The constant filming schedules, the months away, and the distance between her parents were all part of a slow and painful transformation. Jason's love for his craft, which was once an inspiration to her, began to feel like a curse. But the most painful part was that Lola didn't know if he even noticed. Did he see how his absences changed the energy in the house? Did he realize how her mother, Lisa, withdrew more and more? Insiders suggest that Lola did not think her dad noticed all these things. At first, Lola tried to ignore it. She told herself he was just busy and that once filming was over, he'd come back and things would return to normal. But the truth was, normal was gone. The father she saw now was different. He seemed more distant, more distracted, and more disconnected. And during the worst moments, the tension, the silences, the fights that could no longer be ignored, she must have felt abandoned and betrayed, like the father she once knew had become a stranger. For a child, evil doesn't always mean cruelty or malice. Sometimes, it means feeling unseen, unheard, and unimportant. So, did she truly believe her father was pure evil? Maybe not. But in her pain, in that moment, it might have felt that way. According to some, Jason Momoa wasn't a bad man. He wasn't abusive or intentionally cruel. His crime was something more subtle, yet just as painful: neglect. In chasing his dreams, he had unknowingly left the people who loved him behind. More shocking secrets. In the wake of Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet's public separation, much of the narrative surrounding their breakup has been shaped by the couple's own statements. both Jason and Lisa have consistently maintained that their split was amicable, emphasizing mutual respect and understanding as they moved forward in their lives. But behind the scenes, not everyone saw it that way. New, allegedly leaked details suggest that their daughter, Lola Iolani Momoa, may have a very different perspective, one that starkly contrasts with her father's public portrayal of their family's unraveling. According to sources close to Lola, in a moment of raw honesty, she confided in a friend, revealing the frustration she had been carrying. Allegedly, Lola shared that her father did not fight enough to save the marriage, accusing him of giving up when it mattered most. It was a sentiment that painted Jason in an entirely different light than the world had seen. For years, Jason had often spoken about the respect he held for Lisa and their shared commitment to co-parenting. But Lola's words suggest that she believes there was more at play, that her father had chosen his career over their family time and time again. In her alleged comments, Lola hinted that her father's relentless pursuit of his career, particularly after landing major roles like Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones and Aquaman in the DC universe, overshadowed his role as a father and husband. His growing fame brought wealth, recognition, and power, but at what cost? To Lola, the cost was clear: her family. The final truth. The truth about Jason Momoa's family life isn't as simple as some headlines suggest. He isn't the heartless father that some have painted him to be. But neither was he the picture-perfect family man that fans imagined from his social media posts and red carpet appearances. The reality lies somewhere in between, a painful gray area where love and absence coexisted. For Lola Iolani Momoa, that gray area is something she's still navigating. Her father was physically present, but not always emotionally available. He loved her, there was never a doubt about that. But sometimes, love alone isn't enough to hold a family together. Distance, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of success can pull even the closest bonds apart. Others believe that Jason Momoa's biggest mistake was not a lack of love, but rather a lack of awareness. He was so consumed by his career, so determined to build something bigger than himself, that he failed to notice what was slipping away. He didn't realize the true cost of his actions, not until it was too late. But something changed after the divorce. Sources close to the family say that Jason Momoa has come to terms with the emotional impact of his choices, especially when it comes to his relationship with his children. Although his realization may have come later than it should have, he is now wholeheartedly dedicated to being a better father. He's made several efforts to reconnect with Lola and her brother. So, how does Lola feel about her father today? The answer is not straightforward. Those closest to her believe that her love for him is undeniable, but so is the lingering sadness.